money. It's time to lay it on me. Cause what's mine is ours. This shit belongs to the army. Gon' need to see them Benjis. We hungry for them tendies. Give us this day our daily bread. Show us the fucking money.
This ain't financial advice, just a little DD to help you think twice. We hold for each other, eyes on the prize. The new floor's 200,000 times 5. I joke, I kid, no, I don't know a damn thing. I'm as simple as Bubba trying to sell some damn shrimp. Can't spell IQ, can't even count to 10. And I eat crayons every day with my friends. I think about Kenny in his ivory tower, shaking in his lily boots as the apes overpower. Must suck to lose to monkeys, so dumb. But you made your bed and you got nowhere to run. I'd love to be a fly on the wall when he makes the prize fall. And he watching as we keep on more. You forgot we on the float blind, 2 hours old. Lie, stop breaking the law, asshole.
Show us the fucking money. It's time to lay it on me. Cause what's mine is ours. This shit belongs to the army. Gon' need to see them Benjis. We hungry for them tendies. Give us this day our daily bread. Show us the fucking money.
Throwing all my money at the streets like a quarterback. If you D don't mean a thing, water up a duck's back. Apes not leaving nothing till we get the money stacks. Monkey see, monkey do, monkey holding till we're blue. Monkey magic coming through us monkeys on the moon. Double digit IQ, tendy loving bamboo. Right here we got more smoothies than a jumbo juice. Probably thought you coulda made us sell all the gooder. And hell, we maybe woulda, but we more zen than the Buddha. The floor, 6 figures ain't selling for less. You took on the ape nation and you're fucking with the best. We hold for each other, my sisters and my brothers, the fighters and the lovers. We don't need another fan because we huddle through hard times and struggle. Cause we're just a couple of dumps in the rubble.
Show us the fucking money. It's time to lay it on me. Cause what's mine is ours. This shit belongs to the army. Gon' need to see them Benjis. We hungry for them tendies. Give us this day our daily bread. Show us the fucking money.
Moon Gang.
Hello. What is going on? I hope you're having an absolutely fantastic day. If it's your morning, your afternoon, your evening, your night, whatever it is, doesn't matter. Hope you're having an absolutely great one. Today is Wednesday, October 27th. The market's about to open in 30 minutes, a little less than 30 minutes. And as always, we have a lot to talk about to figure out what is going on today. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that, Amber. That's very kind of you. Lots of things to talk about. Lots of things to talk about. We'll be talking about stocks. We'll be talking about futures, options, crypto. We'll be talking about manipulation, insider trading, abuse of power. We got it all. It's going to be a classic Shakespearean setup for you. You know, we're just going to be building it up. There's going to be the climax, and then we're going to have hopefully the resolution. But just like Shakespeare, you might as well crack open like Hamlet, because that's what we have going for you today. Before we hop into all of it, just so you know, AMC currently trading at 36.16 and GME trading at 180. Just to get these numbers out early in the morning, they have already borrowed $1.16 million against AMC today, and they've returned $1.33 for a net return of $171,000. That puts the short interest back over 17%, estimated short interest. The utilization, 87.24%. The shares on loan, 106.76 million. So that's where we're at. And it's at one of these points that people might be like, whoa, Matt, wait, what? What's going on, Duck Kid? I don't get that. There was a net return yesterday. How is the short interest higher? Well, my little duckling friends, here's the situation. Estimated right here. So as you can see, this last time around, yesterday, the exchange reported short interest. this release date came out yesterday, but it's valid for October 15th. So at that point, Ortex was underestimating it. They were estimating 89 million when the exchange reported short interest was 92 million. So it was off by 3 million. So because they were underestimating, that came out yesterday. So when their data got processed last night, they had to recalibrate their models, and that's why we're seeing this jump. It's probably better illustrated right here of they recalibrated their models, and that's why we're seeing a slight uptick in short interest. Remember, we only get these every single 2 weeks. In that time frame, like we're always lagging at best by 2 weeks. What they're attempting to do is say, okay, this is what we're kind of seeing in trends. They're doing their best to estimate what's going on, because remember, shorts that are taken that day of when someone actually goes short, that's not publicly reported that day. As we can see, it came out yesterday, and it was the information from October 15th. So as you can see there, we're behind by 11 calendar days. That's the battle that Ortex is really fighting, and this is one of the biggest issues with being a retail trader. The quality of data that we have is far inferior to what Wall Street insiders have. So this is a good tool, but no one's ever arguing that it's going to be perfect. But I'm just here to explain that sometimes when they're overestimating and then they have to drop it, like we saw on the October 11th one, and the data was from the September 30th settlement date, people, like, they get all pissy. They're like, Ortex is a shill. They're paid off by Citadel. And it's so silly. And I know it's a minority of people who are like that, like their tinfoil hat is that tight that they can't even just see what's going on. But for the rest of you out there, just trying to understand a little bit by why every 2 weeks we see a little bit of either a jump up or a jump down. It's just attempting to recalibrate to better match what's reality. I know there's a couple people out there who, when it comes to exchange reported short interest, they always say self-reported. And I find that very, very odd. I guess in a way it is self-reported, but people are making it seem as if like hedge funds are reporting their own short interest. You know who actually reports this short interest, like to the government? FINRA members. Next logical question is, what in the world is a FINRA member? The best way for me to put this is a FINRA member is anyone who can actually execute a trade. Hedge funds cannot execute their own trade. Obviously, they have to go to a brokerage. So it would be more of that brokerage that's a FINRA member. So when people say self-reported, it's important for you to ask who is self. It's not hedge funds. Hedge funds are not coming out there and saying, we're short like this. We know they don't do that. That's part of the issues with 13F reporting. So just a little clarification, and I feel like I end up having to talk about this every single 2 weeks because we do see a little bit of a jump, but I just want us to get all on the same page there. And once again, that's for AMC. In terms of GME, short interest coming in just below 12%, 11.79. Once again, estimated. They've already borrowed 10,000 shares against it today for a small net of 6.3 thousand. Yesterday was interesting because they borrowed 500,000 against GME yesterday. That was kind of weird. Utilization 39%, shares on loan now up to 8.27 million. Previously, like we were actually sub 8, so this is slowly but surely going up. And just for that like similar breakdown of what happened, it came out yesterday, but the data was for October 15th, and this one was a lot closer. So the exchange reported short interest from FINRA members, not hedge funds, came in at 7.7 million, and it looks like Ortex was estimating 7.5, so pretty close, a little bit of an underestimation. That's why, similarly, we saw a little bit pop up because they're just recalibrating their models. Sometimes they're very, very close, and then previous times they're off by quite a bit. It's tough because you're estimating, you're trying to read the room on what all the craziness of what's happening in Wall Street. It's a tough predictive model, and they're just doing the best they can. But with all of this, understand what is and what isn't estimated, and also understand from just the most general sense that this is clearly a conservative floor estimate. They have 85% of market volume, so they're missing 15% of the legal legitimate picture, and they're missing 100% of the illegal illicit picture because they don't have that because you're not reporting illegal illicit nefarious things. So they have 85% of all the legitimate stuff. Best way to think about Ortex. All right, so now that you know what's going on with AMC and GME, let's give you a little bit more of a higher level view of what's going on in the market. Stock futures flat as investors deal with a flood of earnings, and yes, they did. Before we get into all the earnings, just so you know, yesterday the S&P 500, an ETF, exchange-traded fund that tracks 500 of the biggest companies in the U.S., hit a new all-time high. There maybe is a lot of confusing things going on in your life, and this is probably one of them. You could be like, what do you mean we're at an all-time high? That's insane. The economy doesn't seem like it's at an all-time high. A lot of you might have friends who are unemployed and can't get a job. But other ones of you might be like, well, my friends are employed and yeah, they got a pay raise, but everything else is more expensive. In the past year, or actually since late August, early September, oil is up over 35%. In the past year, from like November to November, oil's up 135%. Natural gas is up 80%. Coffee's up 100%. Sugar's up 34%. Propane's up 162%. Poultry's up 33%. And do not, and I repeat, do not get me started by the increase in price in bacon. I'll have a mental breakdown on camera. You don't want to see it. I save all my crying for the shower. I am an ugly crier. And if I'm already thinking about the increase. Let's just move on. Anyway, market hit an all-time high. It might need to take a little bit of a breather. I'll watch 454, which was the resistance from the previous all-time high. And just so you know, there are now 1, 2, 3 gap fills that eventually will get filled, which is a money-making opportunity. 447.50, 442.60, and 436. In terms of the Qs, another index that we pay attention to, a little bit more tech-heavy. This one is very interesting because there's a lot of big tech companies reporting. Microsoft, Apple, Google, Twitter. Like there's so many juggernauts reporting in the Qs. Even Tesla had its last week. We are in the middle of earnings season. Lots of volatility going on. Yesterday, look at where we got smacked perfectly. We were off by 7 cents on this call, and this was in no way special. Like, how did he get that? People like to act like technical analysis is some weird high-end difficulty thing. Yeah, it can get funky, but just for like a rudimentary breakdown that can still help you make a lot of money, just be like, oh, it got stopped there before. Look at where it got stopped yesterday. A lot of the times, it just becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. A lot of people zoom out on their chart. They're like, oh, I see it got hit here. Let's sell there again, just in case other people are selling. And then so many people think that it actually gets rejected there because we have too much supply in terms of the current demand. But also look where it caught itself yesterday, previous resistance. You see this a lot in the stock market. Support becoming resistance becoming support. It happens. Resistance staying resistance, support staying support. Basically, once you have an important price level, it tends to remain important as you move into the future. So anyway, we're watching this region between 378 and 383. And then IWM, I announced when I got out of mine, I was like, hey, I like 230. We've been playing it now for I've been playing it for about a week, 2 weeks, something like that. I don't know if anyone else did. I locked in my gains at 230. Very fortunate in timing. I didn't expect it to go red on the day and then also gap down. So that's when I say a big part of being a successful trader, at least I would say about 10% of it, is going to just be luck, and that was a lucky play. So sometimes luck is involved. We have a little bit of a gap down, but that's okay because then we have 2 caps to play. On the Russell 2000, we could play this gap fill down to 230, 223, but with this gap, we could also play it back up to 227.84. So you can play both gaps when the moment is appropriate. So that's your look at the overall market, and the reason for the increase in volatility is all of the earnings. So on Monday after close, we had Facebook, which was probably the main one of Monday. Then yesterday, after the market closed, AMD, Microsoft, Alphabet. We'll be talking about all of those. Robinhood, definitely talking about that one. It's down over 10%. This morning, we had Coca-Cola, Boeing, McDonald's, Spotify. After market close today, we have Ford. Tomorrow, we have Shopify and Merck. That's a nice COVID play that people have been talking about. After the close on Thursday, look at this. Apple, Amazon, Starbucks, MicroStrategy, and I guess on Friday, ExxonMobil, but that's not the biggest one anymore. But as you can see, clearly we are in the middle of earnings season. Speaking of that, let's talk about Microsoft and Alphabet, aka Google. So Microsoft, it handedly beating estimates of fiscal first quarter earnings and revenue, mainly because of the cloud computing business. So when I talk about my favorite industries to be invested in, cloud computing is one of them. This is my background. I dealt with cloud computing, and I just think the technology, if anything, is just going to continue to grow and grow and grow. Some of the best ways to play this are through Microsoft's Azure, I think is how it's pronounced. And then you also have Amazon's AWS, Amazon Web Services. Those are the two dominant, I would say, cloud computing plays. Google has their own, but they don't have the most market share. It definitely goes Amazon, and then you have Microsoft under that, and then you have Google under that in terms of market share of cloud computing, but it is heavily dominated by AWS. Obviously, all of those companies have other things. There's not like a pure play to get into cloud computing, but sometimes that's beneficial because sometimes other aspects of those business can also be a lucrative investment. But very, very bullish on cloud computing for 1, 2, 3 decades. You name a time frame, I'm going to be bullish on cloud computing for it. Speaking of Google, third quarter earnings and revenue that exceeded expectations. However, YouTube ad revenue and Google's cloud revenue were below estimates. So this probably doesn't matter to any of you, but it's a bummer to me. YouTube ad revenue were below estimates, so that's a bummer. But yes, two of the biggest companies, not only in the US, but on the globe, beat their earnings and in the tech play. So that might be good for the Qs, the NASDAQ today, because that's obviously a rising tide raises all ships. Now let's talk about a company that didn't do so good. If you remember months ago, right after the IPO, I was brought onto a different Fox program with Ashley, and he asked me about Robinhood, and I was just bearish. I just don't get it. Yes, do I have a vendetta against the company because I think they're liars? Yeah, of course. But let's take our emotions out of it. Their business model, very, very questionable. Most of their money comes from payment for order flow, and obviously there's currently a social and cultural movement against payment for order flow. Another aspect of their money comes from crypto trading. So at the start of the year, payment for order flow with AMC, GME, NOK, BB, that got them a lot of money. The next quarter, Dogecoin went crazy. They made a lot of money after that. This most recent quarter, you have people leaving Robinhood, and there's no explosion, like a huge mainstream media story of explosion in trading. So of course Robinhood is not making its money. And as you're about to see, they lost a lot. Not only was it a little down, but they are hemorrhaging money. The decline after Robinhood missed the top and bottom lines of its third quarter results. Revenue was dragged down by a slowdown in crypto trading, and Robinhood warned that the headwinds in trading will persist into year end. They're calling out for the remainder of the year. They're saying, hey, we're still gonna suck. For the third quarter, total net revenue came in at $365 million, which was under the estimates of $431 million, and it was a severe drop-off from last quarter, which was $565. Robinhood reported a net loss of $1.32 billion. In one quarter, they pissed away over $1 billion. For the next quarter, when they're saying, yeah, we're running into a lot of headwinds, they're not expecting a revenue greater than $325 million. That's their rev. They're going to be operating at a loss, and they just had a net loss of 1.32. They're not even making up a fourth of this, folks. Like very, very low estimates on Robinhood. On the earnings call, Robinhood management described the quarter as one without a major market event like GameStop trading in the first quarter and the rise of Dogecoin in the second quarter. So right there you have it. First quarter, they made their money from options trading. Basically, the payment for order flow and options trading, that's where most of their money came from. The second quarter came from Dogecoin trading. This quarter, there would have been more opportunity if they actually got into SHIB, but they actually said that on the earnings call that they're not doing SHIB, at least not in the near term. That was the one thing that I could see save them, is that they were going to say, oh yeah, but we're dropping SHIB, to kind of wash, rinse, repeat what they did with Doge. But they said, we're not doing SHIB right now. So when that came out, as you can actually see right here, this was kind of the drop in SHIB from it. We got some volatility, but then people were like, we don't care about Robinhood anyway. Yeah, but them saying they're not going to do it, at least in the near term, is why we saw SHIB volatility. And then after that, it didn't really matter because we hit a new all-time high of 60, which is congratulations if you're still in SHIB. But anyway, my opinion on Robinhood has not changed. Bearish. Yes, I have a personal vendetta against it, but on top of that, the business model is a poor business model. FDA panel recommends COVID shots for younger kids. The FDA advisory committee has recommended a lower dose of Pfizer's COVID vaccine for kids aged 5 to 11. Just so you know, if you have a kid out there. On top of that, Merck, the one who's trying to do like an anti-COVID thing, but with an oral pill instead of an injection, they are talking with a UN-backed public health organization that will enable affordable global access for whatever. I'm not even going to try to say that word because I'm just going to butcher it. But a little update on Merck. I'm bringing it up because they have their earnings announcement tomorrow. And on the political front, Democrats unveil billionaires tax to help pay for Biden agenda. So let's actually dive a little bit more into this. The proposed tax would hit the gains of those with more than $1 billion in assets or income of more than $100 million in a year. So I am getting a little bit of strange feedback on this. People, for whatever reason, folks, I'm a capitalist. I'm a bleeding red, white, and blue capitalist through and through. Do I understand that there's clearly a need for some social programs? Yes. So maybe, like, I don't know. I guess I consider myself to be a reasonable capitalist. I see where there are some downfalls, but I see a lot of the pros. And all of a sudden, I'm talking about this, about how this tax is crazy, and people are acting as if I'm standing up for billionaires. I'm not, because you know what happens? They introduce these taxes and they hit it at the top class. And a lot of people, that's all they see. They don't look into the history of how some of these taxes are implemented, because you implement a tax, you let a couple political cycles go, and you lower the bar. All of a sudden, 100 million a year, that drops to 10 million a year. A couple political cycles later, 10 million drops to 1 million. A couple political cycles later, 1 million drops to, we don't care. If you have capital gains, you're paying taxes on it. It's one of these things, you give them an inch and they take an absolute mile. They take a metric mile. I don't care. They take it's insane. It's truly, truly insane. And I don't think people are seeing the big picture of it all. Of, they're like, yeah, like, let's tax the billionaires, because there is an anti-billionaire movement and people are just pissed off that there's like all these rich people and whatever. Some of them are legitimate, other ones aren't. And this is in no way standing up for billionaires. This is us standing up for our future selves. And if you think it stops here, do I care if they tax billionaires more? Not really. I have an issue with what it represents for, like I said, our future selves. If you think this tax will stop here and it's going to be like a one-time thing to help with whatever Biden has going on, like, you got to crack open a history book. At no point has our government ever said, okay, that tax worked the exact way we want it. We have the money. We're good now. They don't take taxes away. It doesn't, like, if they have a new novel tax, it stays there. And if anything, they increase it. So let's be a little bit more, I guess, informed about the big picture of this tax. Do I care particularly about taking more money from billionaires? No, but I do care about what it represents for us years down the road. And just so you know, a little bit more info, taken together, the new tax on billionaires and the 15% corporate minimum tax are designed to fulfill Biden's desire for the wealthy and big business to pay their fair share. They also fit his promise that no new taxes hit those earning less than $400,000 a year or $450,000 for couples. Just so you have some metrics of what is or isn't going on there. All right. This is interesting. You guys know me. I feel like a pit bull in the month of October. The more and more that we're learning about manipulation, insider trading, abuse of power, it seems like this is unraveling, and it's exciting. And maybe I'm being a little bit, I guess, grandiose to think that our movement is helping with it. But also, I think it's really the only variable that's changed is that there's such a loud social media voice right now. And all of a sudden, we're really calling out all these government officials, elected officials, the Fed. Interesting, very, very interesting. So a new update for you. Fed bankers face penalties for ethical breaches under Senate proposal. The legislation would prevent Fed officials from trading individual stocks, but allow investments in diversified mutual funds, investment trusts, and U.S. Treasury securities. So we're talking about Fed officials now. This is actually a development on top of what we were already talking about with the other guy from Texas, that Fed chairman, stepping down, and Powell with his own rules. This is now on top of it. And this is coming from Senator Brown. The American people need to be able to trust that the Federal Reserve works for them and the officials aren't abusing their positions for personal gain. The senator said in a press release that the bill was a companion to legislation that would impose similar restrictions on members of Congress who have faced criticism for their own stock trading. That is crazy. Let me read that one more time, or the key part. That would impose similar restrictions on members of Congress. This is now getting out of the world of the Fed, and like it's become a joke of like just trading on whatever Pelosi does. But now, hey, according to the senator and like what they're actually doing with this bill is they're looking at Congress. I am so excited to see what Congress members vote against this, because right away they like, you got to just look into them right away. Like anyone who votes no to this, they're just putting a target on their back of like, oh yeah, I've probably done something like sketchy. And like right away, as soon as I see everyone who votes no, looking into every single one of them, because I bet they have some serious skeletons in their closet. The Federal Reserve, of course, declined to comment on the legislation. Some of what the senators are proposing for the Fed lines up with changes that the central bank is already making. The Fed last week imposed personal investing restrictions on its senior officials in response to a stock trading controversy that prompted the retirement of 2 Fed bank presidents. And they stepped down. Obviously, they didn't get in trouble. It's just an ethics issue. Let's step down. We realize we abused it, but like they don't get in trouble. They keep the money. They definitely don't see jail or prison time. Whoa. Why would we do that? So speaking of those two, excuse me. Kaplan and Rosengreen retired after Fed Chairman Jerome Powell refrained from offering them public support, saying that his September press conference that no one is happy about the trading revelations. Imagine that. Imagine the people under you that still have extreme power. You're like, yeah, no one's happy about it. Like, what? They're not happy that they got caught? Like, come on, like, what a weak comment. Like, why wouldn't Powell come out and be like, this is a clear, horrendous abuse of power. We're making rules to ensure this never happens again. There's a way to ensure the public that you have their back. Instead, you say, no one is happy. Inflation is transitory. Everything's hunky-dory. Don't worry about it at all. Like, come on, dude. Like, you have, and on more of a personal note, I mean, this is where my frustration has been coming, I would say, over the past like 3 or 4 months, is so many people in serious positions of power, they're given opportunities to show that they have the public's back, which kind of makes sense because please do not forget the clear axiom of being an elected official within the U.S. or a selected official within the U.S. You work for us. And time again, it's never ever that they're standing up for the right person. And of course, we've talked about this, and I know I'm preaching to the choir here. It's like, well, it seems like we're seeing horrific cases of cronyism once again, but it's just sad. It's not like one person. We're seeing so many people just time and time again. If they're given the opportunity to abuse their position, their power, their inside knowledge, they do it. And then like they don't even have like the common decency to like construe a nice lie for us to at least make us sleep better at night. They're just straight up, they don't even care about that. They're like, nah, we screwed you. No one's happy about it. Catch you next meeting. It blows my mind. Absolutely blows my mind. All right. So with all that being said, let me just see if there's any updates from when I was speaking. All right. We went over the Wall Street Journal thing. All right. Good stuff. Bitcoin taking a dip. All-time high 67,000, double rejection at 63, and selling off right now 59. A couple people were asking me like, do you ever think it's going to go below 60 again? I said yes. I honestly did not think it'd be this quick, but hey, there's your below 60 opportunity. It could go lower, but this still does in no way change my opinion on Bitcoin. If anything, the lower it dips, the more I'm going to buy, the higher the opportunity of me buying. With that being said, yeah, Bitcoin taking a bit of a breather. Ethereum also taking a breather, but not to such an extreme. You know what's not though? SHIB. Actually, it feels as if some point we're going to see a new all-time high probably in this morning stream, maybe in the afternoon stream, but SHIB is showing some serious muscle right now. 58.70, the high is 59.90. it does feel like we're about to see a new all-time high in SHIB. I'm in it. I was gifted it from Voyager. I've bought Bitcoin. I've bought Ethereum. I've bought Matic. Cardano now sub 2. That's the first time Cardano's gone sub 2 in a bit. Still a long-term hold. Matic 174. Overall, this has been a nice gain on Matic. Hex 26 cents. That one's hurting me right now. I think it should be a little bit closer to 40 cents. So I think it's just a patience play. But that's how I view all of my crypto to be. Literally all of my crypto. I'm not actively trading any of it whatsoever. If I'm in crypto, it's going to be a pretty long-term hold on any of them. Maybe if I somehow recover some of my losses on Litecoin, like if I go to break even, maybe I'll pull out of that one. But honestly, even given that opportunity, I probably wouldn't. I probably would not. All right, before we get going, let me see if I could get some of these questions answered for you. We have about a minute and a half. Let me drop to the 1 minute on all of these. Matt, have you ever seen pre-market halt on a stock? Genus. Yeah, you have it. I mean, there's various types of halt. It could be a news halt. I don't know if there's a volatility halt in pre-market, but there's like a whole host of types of halts that can happen. Have a green day. Damn SHIB. Shout out Mary. Hope you're having a good one. Hey, Marty, is there a chance that maybe Citadel's doing a lot of manipulation they can short through the Toronto Stock Exchange? That's a whole different exchange. That's not for U.S. equities. At that point, you would be talking about, before when we were talking about like the depository receipts for AMC to trade on the Canadian exchange, it would be the equivalent of a Canadian receipt. So not directly the same thing as AMC. So I don't think, it might be worthwhile to look into, but that's not a theory that like really, really jumps out to me. Amber, shout out, becoming an astronaut. Morning, Matt. Have a blessed one. Shout out, Jose. The PROG short interest free float went down, but shares on loan went up, as did costs to borrow. Nothing's changed, in my opinion. Responding to chat, shout out Wall Street Viking. PHUN, thanks for all you do. I will write that down and we'll do it right after. I should have it up on the side. It's currently $4.35. Let's just wait. Market's about to get going.
Whoa, brother.
Whoa, brother. I dropped my little secret notebook here of all the big notes to take. US did run high tax on income. It hit the greedy top. Everyone else redistributed wealth to avoid tax and had the highest medium income era. No billionaire made honest money. They monopolize industry. Keto's gains. There's a lot to unpack there. I don't know if you could have like a full-fledged tax economy debate in whatever the limit of like a super chat thing is. But no. There's many historical events that would actually show the opposite. But you seem like one of those people that are like, I just know. I took one economy class. Like, trust me, bro. I know what I'm talking about. But hey, if you feel that way, I hope you're right, man. I just disagree. Very interesting news on the back end not getting attention. Google, Wall Street on parade to move bank deposits to Fed and be allowed to short stocks. I'm back and not getting attention. I'll check that out, Drake. That looks interesting. Good morning, Matt and Moon Gang. Let us change our family's financial future today. Shout out Gorilla Champ. I hope you're having a great one. All right, PROG is at 380. Tesla, I need this. Like I said, I'm looking for $2,000. $2,000 in a minute. I'm obviously being facetious about it, but I still have my long position on Tesla, and I was chasing. I bought it at an all-time high. It was stupid. I broke my rules, and yesterday it cost me, but I still believe in Elon. He's gonna ensure in me that these tendies are captured. And actually, what I really need to do is, just so everyone knows, my transfer from Webull to public was not accepted. It was, I messaged public about it and they're like, oh yeah, it was denied for like whatever reason. So that is extremely frustrating. According to public, the issue was on Webull's side. That's what they said. I don't know how I would confirm that or deny that, but of course, like, is it that big of a surprise that public's like, oh no, it's their problem? Just so everyone knows, like, I think other people haven't had it. Maybe I just got like unlucky, or maybe I did something improperly. I don't know, but I just wanted to keep everyone up to date on that. What I'm kind of personally thinking about doing is moving most or all of my AMC and GME shares to public and then just letting it sit there. Because I still do actively, obviously, trade other stocks. If you missed the stream yesterday afternoon for Power Hour, I'm now in PROG. And with AMC and GME, like, I just know I'm not doing anything. As, what are we at? October 27th? I can confidently say this. As of October 27th, me, Matt Kohrs, the guy with too many duck shirts, I just want to sit on those shares. I almost just want to put them, I just want to create like an AMC and GME account, which is what I might use public for. Let all those shares sit there, and they're just going to sit. They're going to sit. They're going to sit. They're going to sit. And I'm just going to wait and wait and wait and be as patient as I possibly can be. So I'm still attempting to get either all of my shares or maybe even more, maybe just buy some at like this low price of 36 on AMC. And I would have preferred the GME dip around 165, but hey, not too far off. And I just kind of want them to sit there. Like, I'll use my other accounts for my other things. I feel like I'm really, really close to just creating a specialty AMC GME account and let those shares sit there, and well, they're going to sit. It's kind of interesting. I see a lot of people when you're discussing AMC and GME, if you're actively trading it, I do wish you the best of luck. There is money to be made in all the whenever you see volatility, there is opportunity to make money. If you want to play it, whatever, up, down, covered calls, puts, selling put, like, I don't care. It's all up to you. It's your money. I don't tell anyone what to do with their money. Whatever you're doing, I hope you're profitable. I hope you find a methodology that continually makes you money. But for me, where I'm at in this, I mean, I've made some serious money on AMC and GME calls, and I've lost some serious money on AMC and GME calls. So for me, like, where it's at, it just seems not only mentally healthier, but also just easier for like day-to-day life of like diving into all these other things, of to just sit on a stack of shares for both of these companies, put them in an account, and you're just good to go. So that's kind of where I'm at. I don't know. Maybe I'm just saying something and everyone says like, what are you talking about, Matt? We've been doing that already. Like, I just have an AMC GME account and it's just sitting there. So maybe I'm just a couple months behind on all of you, but it does just seem easier to like a particular moon stock portfolio. I keep my stocks there. And then that gives me like in other accounts, really the opportunity to pay attention to what else is going on in the market. Oh, good point. Albie. Ding, ding, ding. Ding, ding, ding. The casino opened 5 minutes ago. Do a poll about billionaire taxes. I'm legit curious to see what the majority here thinks. Seems a mixed bag in comments. I would assume a lot of people don't care about taxing billionaires because like that's the social cultural movement is against billionaires of pay their fair share. That's not my point at all. My clear point is I don't want it to happen because it's going to only be a little bit of time before that bill and that rule and that methodology is extended to far more people. I don't care whatsoever if they tax billionaires more. My issue is what they're going to do with the middle class and the lower class years down the road when they already set this precedent. I don't know how to make myself more clear on that. I don't give a squat what they do with billionaires. I'm not a billionaire. I care about us. I care, unless there's a billionaire watching, whatever. I'm probably like, offending you, but for like, let's just say the average person listening right now, which is probably most of us, I care about us in the future. Matt, you mentioned 52 importance on DWAC. I did. Oh shoot, it's at 62. What's DWAC doing right now? DWAC, yeah, I was looking to, I have puts on DWAC. I'm long on puts on DWAC, and I'm looking to capture my profits at 52. It's currently trading at 61. That was a trade that I announced that like I was personally getting into yesterday. So what do you suggest we don't tax them? When did I say that? I just said, let's not do this unrealized gains tax, which is just like an insane idea. It's a wildly insane idea. If anyone's arguing that you don't think they'll eventually apply it to everyone that has some sort of market account, some sort of brokerage account, if you don't think that they're going to do that to literally everyone with a stock account, a futures account, an options account, and a crypto account, and I mean everyone given enough time, you just have to look at how these novelty taxes have been imposed in the past. They pitch as like, oh, this is a one-time thing. We just need some money for XYZ, and then they never get rid of it. It's the classic foot in a door argument. SHIB about to run, approaching all-time highs. So close. PROG also looking good, wants to take out 4. SHIB currently at 59. SHIB is about to hit an all-time high. All right, so wait, we have so many things moving right now. Hang on, where's Tesla? Tesla. We have that up there. PROG's making its move. Let's go to SHIB for a second. SHIB about to do its thing. Man, we got a lot of movers. Public allows for clearing from Apex to lend shares. So Apex and actually Instinet is Public's clearing broker, but that doesn't mean, like, they do allow it, but you can turn your lending off then. Trace Subway Cup. But yeah, Public is not a big enough company to do their own clearing. That's a very common business model for newer brokerages. They hire a clearing brokerage to be their clearing broker. So for example, that's exactly what all of them do at the start. When you're getting going, it just takes more money. It takes more legal hurdles to be your own clearing broker. So all the new brokerages, at first that's how Robinhood did it. Now they have Robinhood Clearing. They serve as their own clearing broker. So that's a common business model, and Public is very open about that's one of their sources of revenue. Because they don't do payment for order flow, their sources of revenue come from share lending and from optional tipping. But if you don't want your shares lent out, you just opt out of it. True Demon was mentioning that PROG might do a dilution mid-November. Your thoughts, please? Yeah, so if you look at the 8K filing, they're almost looking at getting rid of potentially getting rid of, I guess, the time frame that would be required for those. At first, when you read what's going on with the convertible bonds, a lot of people are like, hang on, they can't do it, like, because that was part of it. There was a certain time frame that they were going to be held to, that they couldn't be messing around or do any dilution. But if you scroll down in the filing, you can see that they're actually potentially voting to get rid of that time frame. So it could happen theoretically earlier, but we have to see and wait how that goes. So what's the difference between Public and Webull? Public doesn't do payment for order flow. Webull does. Public sends your orders to lit exchanges and market centers, while Webull sends your orders to market makers. Very, very different. If we have to pay tax on unrealized gains, will we be able to write off hypothetical losses? I mean, that's a fair question, but I highly doubt they'll allow people to actually do that. Good morning, you beautiful ape. What do you think about METX? How's that chart looking? Hang on, let me write that down. PHUN, someone asked about that, and METX. Where else do we at? I think we are all caught up. I mentioned the 52 importance on DWAC. Yes, DWAC, just very quickly, that's the gap fill from October 21st. And I'm looking to play this to the downside, profit off of it by a fall to 52. And that's the trade. That's where I'm looking to capture my gains. And it's the high from October 21st. Matt, is AMC crashing? No, I think there's a lot of fear mongering with that type of stuff of like, it goes up, it comes down, and they're like, it's crashing. Whenever anyone calls like a $1 movement on a $37 stock crashing, it just kind of tells me they've never really experienced a crash whatsoever. You're going to know, like, it's going to go down multiple tens of percent, and usually rapidly, for a stock that is up. Like, seriously, this is what I don't get about the fear mongering. And I don't know if this is someone who's just new and they don't know what's going on, or if it's like a planted shill or just like an asshole. But whatever it is, how can AMC be crashing when it's positive on the day? Like, how does that make sense? And like I said, maybe it's a new person and you're just asking a legitimate question. Like, okay, like, I get it. At some point, we're all new and we all have things to learn. But People have also pointed out that there are clearly people trying to infiltrate the group and spread fear. And that's tough on my end because, like, how do I know who's what? How do I know if it's a new ape asking a legitimate question and concern that's on their mind? Or is it the other side of just someone trying to be like a shill, basically? Did we all wave goodbye to Hood as it passed us on its decline? Bye. Where's Hood at right now? Hood, man, getting crushed. Hood is down 11.5% right now. That is getting crushed. Tesla, 1,035. I would love that above 1,050. And then I'm really watching 1,125. The federal income tax started at the top 1%. Only thing too, if we were serious about getting billionaires, they'd replace the income tax with Fed sales tax. You can loophole income, but everyone spends. Wonder if Vlad is sweating today, puts on Hood. He probably is. I mean, he not only is the stock diving, but they also just burned $1.3 billion in the last quarter. Can you check your Twitter DM? Yeah, I mean, I will check that out in between shows today. I'll try to go through and get as many read as I can. Someone is asking for the PROG short interest. Let me check that out very quickly for you. PROG. Frog or Proggers. The short interest, 52%. The cost to borrow, 242%. They've already borrowed a net of 872,000 against it today. Utilization, 99.9%. Shares on loan, 34.86 million. PROG currently trading at 391. DWAC, I don't know if other people had the same mindset as me, but this is printing right now. And hopefully if Tesla comes back, that will also be printing. Tesla is fighting its way back. And then do we have SHIB up here? SHIB is also, whoa. We're about to see SHIB's all-time high, I think. Let me just double check. Yeah, we're about to see a new SHIB all-time high. There we go. Congratulations if you're in SHIB. Hey, Matt, any thoughts on Citadel naked shorting and manipulation through the Toronto Stock Exchange? Sent a similar earlier about it. Yeah, I talked about that. Remember, that's a different nation's exchange. So it wouldn't be the exact same, like the way you think of AMC stock, it would actually be like a replica of it or receipts that are going to be tracked with it. But the buying and selling on a different nation's exchange would not have that same impact on our nation's exchange. So it's probably worthwhile to look into it a bit, but I don't think it's the strongest theory. Are you invested in NFT? Check out Animal Society. They have space apes and space ducks. Oh, I'll have to check that out. Yeah, I do have a handful of NFTs. I think I'm down money on them. I don't know. I'm not like some crazy NFT expert whatsoever. I have them. I have like 10 and I'm just going to sit on them. I kind of treat my NFTs the way I treat my general crypto investments. I'm just going to sit and see what happens. Have you tried asking the shills if they're shills? I think they legally have to tell you, or maybe that's cops. Now I'm thinking about pirates. Man. All right. So M also asking about METX. This one, I from a technical perspective, I'd be a little bit concerned because like you have two gaps under it and it's like a bit of a weird chart. It seems like it's always just selling off. But the recent spike has to be some sort of development. So I would want to look into what's going on. If there's no fundamental development, I would definitely avoid it. It seems like then it could be a penny stock pump and dump. But maybe there's some fundamental driver that's like, oh, no. This is exactly why we went basically up 100% in 4 days. So this one, I'm not in love with the technicals, especially if you start zooming out. But I mean, it looks like it was just trying to gap fill. Like there are gaps to be filled. That's an opportunity. But I would just drive into the news related to this one. Definitely not my cup of tea. SHIB. Ding, ding, ding. Shiba Inu, new all-time high. Congratulations to all. Everyone. So if you're in that, seriously, congratulations. I'm stoked when anyone's making money. Morning, Matt. Happy birthday. What's your opinion on why we need AMC to squeeze? How's Chairman? What's your opinion on what we need for AMC to squeeze? Oh, what we need? Like just a crazy amount of demand. we need enough demand to overwhelm the supply that we get probably a big technical breakout of 50 or 53. And then I think that could carry us up to the mid 60s. And from there, that could carry us to the mid 70s. There has to be enough people, whether institutions, retail, I don't care where the buying pressure, where the buying aggression comes from, but enough people have to be enticed at whatever the current price is for them to buy more and overwhelm supply. Can you please? It would also be nice if market makers stopped doing all these short exempt trades. That would also be, it would probably make the job a little bit easier. Adam, shout out. I appreciate that. Are you long on PROG squeeze potential? Yes, I am in PROG. Yes, it does have squeeze potential, but I am not in PROG for the squeeze. I actually just like where it's fundamentally headed. It seems like they are making a easier and more reasonable delivery system, like an oral delivery system for Humira. I think I'm saying that right, but that's a very popular drug. It's like a multi-billion-dollar a year drug, and it's injected. So right now with the patent that PROG just got, and it seems like what they're trying to do, I actually kind of like it as like just a company investment. If it squeezes, that's cool. I'll take some profits, let it come down, and then I'll reinvest. But I actually like PROG of where it's headed. There is an argument for it to be an FTD short squeeze. High short interest, high cost to borrow is on the threshold list. And obviously, I'd be stoked if that happens, because then they could use that opportunity to raise more money and expand the business. I think they're good people. But for me, yes, I do recognize that could happen, but I actually like what I'm finding out about the company as like a true investment. Sorry, brother, still hung up on the gap fill play from yesterday. If the stock is trading at 65 and the gap fills down to 50, wouldn't buying a put around 65 be more profitable than one buying around 50? No. If you get things that are out of the money, they're more risky. But if you're right, and if it happens rapidly, you make more money. The profit potential associated with out of the money calls, out of the money puts is higher if you're right, but you're taking on more risk. Remember, whenever you take on more risk, it's most likely because you have a higher potential reward. So going out of the money, as you go out of the money, from in the money to out of the money, that's the increase in risk. And as you go from farther out in expiration dates to closer expiration dates, that's higher risk. So your highest risk plays are the closest expiration, the farthest out of the money. And they're the highest risk because you're statistically the least likely to be correct. But if you are correct and you get a huge movement rapidly in your direction, your rewards will be substantial. PROG above 4. Can you take a look at SOS crypto mining? Yes. So just so you know, we've looked at that. The only crypto mining company I'm actually interested in is ANY. And my reasoning for that is ANY is another potential squeeze play. Beyond that, I really don't like crypto miners. I don't understand it. I'd rather just get crypto directly. Crypto miners, you're basically betting on Bitcoin and Ethereum. But on top of that, you have to consider inter-business competition between Riot, Mara, SOS. So for all of those, why take on that extra risk of maybe you were right on crypto, but maybe you didn't pick a strong company within the sector? So if you are basically betting on crypto, why not get a crypto ETF or directly get into crypto, which directly getting into crypto, I would vehemently argue is the best option. I just like all of those, Riot, Mara, Hut, SOS, all those miners, they don't really make sense to me. You're just taking on unnecessary risk. Why did Burke A run up 51% after hours yesterday and fall back 30 minutes later? Clear manipulation. Why is that manipulation? I think it's like I would have to know, but like why? Just be like inherently because it moves like that much, you think it's manipulation? Or I don't know the news on it. Truly, like I don't know what's going on with Burke A. I do not have the funds to buy Burke A, so I never have. Why did Burke A? All right, we did that. Hood remove sell button to save itself. Where's Hood at? I should probably add it to the list today just so we can see how much it's falling. Down now 12.3%. It's getting smacked. PROG looks like it's kind of making some moves. DWAC 57. I'm looking for 52. Someone, if I'm not paying attention to DWAC and it continues to fall, if someone could let me know, that would be nice, especially if we go sub like 54, 53, because I need to lock in some tendies at that point. Tesla, looking good. SHIB, just in an all-time high. We're at 62. SHIB is currently up 29%, absolutely ripping. Right now, AMC is holding on 36. Hang on. Like I said, I need to transfer, and I kind of like the price on AMC right about now. Waiting, loading. Where does it tell you? Okay. Quantum as AMC. I'm not sure about the legal parts of this. So let me put it this way. I may or may not have bought more AMC. Yeah. Let's leave it at that. Those are the two options. I may have, I may not have. I also may potentially be in the middle of just attempting to get all of my shares through various brokerages onto one particular brokerage as that relates to AMC and GME. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But I did have a conversation about that earlier of how I would like to consolidate all of my AMC and GME shares on a particular brokerage because it's just way easier for them to sit there. And it is at a nice level of support to kind of do this share transfer. So we'll put that out there. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I still see a lot of people talking about direct registration. I don't see how direct registration helps us. I don't. I see how it cuts down on FTDs, but if you look at AMC and GME, the FTDs are currently low right now. So if you're doing direct registration to try to shine a light on naked shorting, you're not going to be shining a light on much if you're talking about stocks and not the options market. And direct registration does not seem to help much with the options market. Direct registration, you're not loaning out your shares. That's nice. It does seem to cut down on FTDs. That's very nice. But if you look at the most recent report on AMC and GME, the shares are low. The FTD shares are low. And we've kind of talked about this. I think the naked shorting is actually being pulled off in the options market, not in the stock market. So I don't know registration. Like, I don't think you could directly register options plays. I don't think you could do that. I think you have to have stocks. So like I said, I do see the benefits of direct registration. But also, please understand, it makes you very slow. It makes you very slow. If you want to sell, you're not going to get the price that the market's currently at because you have to call your transfer agent. They schedule the trade for you. It takes time. So if you want to be very mobile with your shares, well, you got to be careful. Direct registration will not be for you if you care about the mobility of buying and trade or buying and selling. When the time is appropriate. PROG destroying it for 40. At this point, I'm watching $5. I'm watching the $5. SHIB moving. Speaking of GME, 180. Just not moving much. GME hasn't even traded 200,000 shares. Like GME, it just needs more interest. It needs more volume. It needs more volatility. I want to see it get the same enthusiasm that SHIB currently has. Look at that. Look at that beaut. PROG looking nice. Tesla looking nice. A money-making day. Congratulations to the Proggers. Speaking of the low volume volatility in GME, I think it's not going to be around for long. Maybe it's going to be around for longer than some of you want, but let me quickly for a second speak to all the GME supporters out there. I think if you're patient enough and you wait for their partial pivot into crypto and really look at how this like NFT metaverse plays its way out, that could be game changer. So like I said, patience. Same thing with AMC. Wait for them to really confirm these new contracts with the NFL, NBA. Maybe they'll get into sports betting. Maybe they'll start selling more liquor and alcohol at the theaters. Maybe they'll expand it into arcades. Both of these have so much potential, and I highly respect both Ryan Cohen and Adam Aaron as leaders. And maybe you're not going to see the fundamental pivots as quickly as you want to see them, but understand they're in the pipeline. It might that's the only thing is you want it to happen faster, but let's just hang our hat on the fact that it is happening. I think it's extraordinarily smart on Ryan Cohen and the rest of the leadership team at GameStop to get involved in NFTs. So if you can just stomach some boring periods for whatever X amount of time, one of these days, I just believe it's going to get that volume and the volatility and the interest again. Same with AMC. AMC, the volume and volatility hasn't gone down as much, but even this, they're getting into crypto as in accepting payments. They're showing concerts, they're showing fights, they're showing sporting events. I think it's really smart for them to somehow partner with DraftKings or FanDuel or Penn and get some gambling in there if you're going to continue showing sports. We know that Adam Aaron has alluded to some introductory phone call between him and Ryan Cohen. Imagine if GameStop and AMC come out with something together. I don't know, GameStop with esports, if all of a sudden you're showing esport tournaments on an AMC theater screen, there's just so much potential. Really, the limit is how creative can the leadership teams get. So with all of that stuff, obviously it takes time to implement it. So with that, just remember, it takes time, patience. And when you know it could take considerable time, remember, options are not going to be the best for you going long on options. If you want to sell covered calls, if you want to sell puts just because you're hang on, I think it's going to be a little bit quiet for right now, have at it. That's up to you if you feel comfortable with options. But going long on options at the moment, well, yes, the volatility is a little bit low on both of them, but you want to get in right before an increase in volatility. And if you don't think some big catalyst is coming soon, it's probably not the most ideal time to play because you don't want to get crushed by theta. Plug is moving. PROG is looking great. PROG. Frogger. SHIB at 62, absolutely crushing it. GME picking up a little bit. GME would love for it to test. So GME, the main resistance we're watching is that area between 188 and 190. It's a proven area of excess supply. We're looking at that breakout, basically the breakout and the hold of 190. Would love to see GME slowly but surely track its way back up to 200. AMC, the support it's at it right now of 36. That is very, very important. We're looking for AMC to hold 36. If it can't, the next support is just below 34. For me, my methodology is just to play from level to level to level. As soon as we break an important level, I just move to the next tranche. If we break upward, I just move up to the next tranche. I'm always just playing level to level to level. Mark, if the hedgies kick the can until AMC has their dilution they talked about in 2022, maybe I'm wrong. There's no dilution right now. There's no more authorized shares. They took that vote off the table. There's no more shares that they could dilute the stock with. Because retail owns such a considerable percentage of the stock, to do something like that, they would have to get our vote. And they wanted us to vote on it for another 25 mil. But then they took it off and we didn't even vote on it. So right now, I don't know where you're getting a dilution in 2022, but as of now, of what's going on in terms of authorized shares, it's literally impossible. I think they have 43,000, and we're talking about a stock that is 500 million right now. So maybe they have a little bit, or maybe there's it's super, super small. As the Citadel versus SEC lawyers would say, it is de minimis. Why isn't Genus moved in 20 minutes? A halt. Could just be a news halt. I don't think it's a volatility halt, but like on the NASDAQ website, you could see SHIB is still going. I see a lot of people saying SHIB. Yeah, it's at 62. That's crazy. I've never added to the SHIB position. I still just have what Voyager gave me. But of course, like I'm up over 1,000% right now. I wish I bet everything on it. Like what? Like I wish I just remortgaged the house that I don't even own. Like whenever you see 1,000% gain, you're just like, dang, why did I not bet more? I'm curious, how many of you in here are in SHIB right now? Let me know. Can you comment? I don't know, just drop a dog emoji or something. Oh, hey, Mark, I submitted troglodytes like troglodytes as the new moniker. Thanks for keeping my company today. Charlie can get quacked. Miles away. This is very, very funny. Troglodytes. I just learned what that word meant like 2 months ago. And basically, for those of you who don't know, it's basically like kind of a Neanderthal, I believe. So I kind of like that. Troglodytes. That's creative. I like that. Matt, can you please explain how to use limit orders for both buying and selling Shiba on Voyager? Currently owns 75 million shares and want to keep adding, but the ask is higher than the share price. Yeah, because that's what the bid-ask spread is. The ask is the lowest willing seller and the bid is the highest willing buyer. And you're kind of bouncing in between that or at the midpoint. So when you're doing a limit buy, you're saying, I want to buy it for this and I don't want to buy it unless you can get it to me for this price. And then selling would be the exact opposite. A limit sale said, only sell it at this price if someone's willing to buy it there. And if not, don't sell it then. Holding 921 million SHIB and the twitch in my eye is real. I love you, chair. Shout out, Mike. 300 million in SHIB bought in at 511. Did you hear about the gaming platform FaceClan going public under BAMP? Thoughts? I'm unfamiliar with gaming, but looks like it may cause a pop. Just from their notoriety, I would be very surprised if it doesn't cause a pop. But you know what else caused a pop? DWAC. And now look at DWAC. It's from 175 down to 56. Just because something pops doesn't mean it's necessarily going to hold at that new level. So the FaceClan, they're very well known in the gaming sector. So do I think there's going to be a pop? Yes, I think there's going to be a pop. Do I think that pop is going to hold? It depends. And that's where you have to look into the fundamentals of the business and understand their business model, their revenue. Are they growing? Just because something has a recognizable name doesn't mean it's a good investment. So with that, it just means do your DD, like look into it. But I don't think the merger is even expected to happen, I believe, until like next year, I think, if I am remembering the articles I've read about it. What are we doing in the market right now? All of them just took a little bit of a dip. Huh. Taking a little bit of a dip. What is going on here? All right. So right now, if you take a quick look at the SPY, just took a dip. The Qs definitely taking a dip. IWM also taking a dip, but not to the same extreme. So Russell holding on the best, I would say, but percentage-wise on the day, it's down 0.4%, while the Qs are still up 0.16 and the SPY is up 0.08. But from an intraday just charting perspective, it does seem like the Russell's holding on the best currently. And the dip in both the Qs and the SPY obviously kind of damaging Tesla, which is unfortunate for me because I'm long on Tesla and it was looking nice at 1,064. So let's just hope something happens in the remainder of the day. Maybe we could pull a quick U-turn. PROG having a good day, up 5.5%, currently at $4.20. DWAC coming down to my profit zone. DWAC, a lot of weakness. I mean, I don't know. I thought DWAC was more of an obvious play. Like it seemed just like kind of a layup. I'm currently up 46%, which is I'm happy with that. Definitely happy with that. But I'm waiting for this more because I just think there's more selling to be done for that gap fill. This is just a technical gap fill play. Pretty easy breezy, lemon squeezy. Hey, pal, just drove to Atlanta and crossed the Mississippi and sipping scotch and smoking cigar because of Tesla. You might be the best trader on your side, but hey, I'm on the other side now. What's going on, Jeremy? Would you buy now, SHIB now, or wait to see if it comes down? I already have some and way up, but want to add. I never enjoy. I don't think it's a smart idea to add on at an all-time high. I literally did that yesterday at Tesla, and now I'm down probably like $2,000 on Tesla because I was being stupid. Sometimes you can get lucky and add at a new high, and just if you're early on the momentum and it keeps pushing. But if you're looking at in just general, is that a good methodology to engage in the market? Most times it's not going to be. I don't think I could really ever be supportive of getting in at an all-time high. Can you check out the Ortex on PHUN? I don't know if it'll have it. PHUN it's related to DWAC, and DWAC's going down. We're at 54.50. PHUN was an even weaker play because it was a lot of assumption that they would be doing it. PHUN, the short interest is 8%. So it's shorted. It's not incredibly shorted, but PHUN to me is not like anywhere even close to a short squeeze play. And honestly, neither was DWAC. DWAC was a crazy momentum play. Where are we at on GME? 180. Okay, we're just looking for that to kind of punch above 185, and then maybe we could test 190. Unfortunately, AMC right now, sub 36. We want this to catch itself soon. Part of the problem could very well be what's going on right here on IWM. Are we bouncing back, though? Is the SPY bouncing? Are the Qs bouncing? Are we going to get a little bit of a bounce? All right, I think, shout out Tony H. Oh, thank you for that reminder. If you haven't already, if you could, please hit that like button. Just helps me out with the algorithm. Obviously, liking, subscribing, completely free. I seem to forget this, but just a friendly reminder. If you want to help me out, or if you just want to be a member of the Moon Gang, hit that subscribe. It is completely free. If you want to help me out with the algorithm, if you enjoy the content, don't forget to drop a like. If you made some money, if you're up on SHIB, if you're up on PROG, if you're up on something, let me know. Destroy that like. Shout out Doug, up 8K on SHIB, holding long term. Already got out what I put in. Shout out Doug, crushing it. Someone said public is being glitchy. Fitness gains. Maybe just try killing the app and then getting back in. All right, I am getting close on my DWAC. Getting close. Here we go. My DWAC currently up 54%. I honestly thought it would be better. I guess it's just because it's so time. Like, I'm actually not even in the money yet. My strike price is 50, but I got in around 70. Dang, I thought this would just be a little bit more volatile, but still looking. We're close. We're 53, about $1 away. About $1 away. Can I do a TD on, or a TA on PROG? So on an intraday basis, you're basically, you are currently looking for this trend line on an intraday. And then on the daily, you're looking for it to hold above 4. What else do we have? All right, I think we are good there. SHIB, again, new all-time high, 64. I read some people that were saying the next movement could go to like somewhere between 70 and 75, like just in whatever this push currently is. JTH Woods, posture check. Good call. I appreciate that. Look at you guys looking out for me, looking out for my lumbar. Thank you. All right. So DWAC still a little bit weak right here. Okay. Tesla, I obviously want this to catch itself for the second time and continue to push again, but it's going to be more related to the Qs pushing up, the SPY pushing up. Looks like IWM is pushing up, but Tesla will have that. SHIB is just ripping right now. Posture. There we go. No, Tesla, wrong way on Tesla, wrong way on DWAC. Wrong way on Hood. Everything. None of these equities got the memo of where I wanted them to go. What are we doing? SPY, look at that bounce back. Well, honestly, with SPY bouncing like that and Cube bouncing like this, Tesla's not making much sense to me. It should be kind of tracking with the SPY and the Qs. SHIB still ripping at 65 now. Another new all-time high. How's the rest of crypto looking? SHIB obviously, oh, Matic. Matic is definitely waking up. And it seems like all the other cryptos are still sleeping in today. So SHIB making incredible gains. It's up 35%, I guess, in the last 24 hours. And then Matic is also, hey, it's up early, percolating with the coffee. So these two, congrats if you're in Matic. Definitely congrats if you're in SHIB. We'll just watch that thing absolutely rip. Tesla upsetting me right now, so let's just watch DWAC instead. Counselor is up 6K in 24 hours on my 1 trillion coins of Kishu Inu. As Shiba runs, Kishu runs higher. Shiba is now the Bitcoin to shitcoins. You can get that one through Uniswap, swapping ETH or on Bitmart. Shout out Counselor Murray. Unable to buy AMC on public, very glitchy. Order say it's pending state and can't cancel. Let me see if I saw a similar thing related to that on public. I could double check. Oh, wow. She really moving right now. I'm not seeing that issue on AMC as it is on public. Maybe they're just started having like these issues, or maybe just want to kill it. But like, I mean, I have my public open right now. You're saying that it's glitching? It seems to be good for me. Maybe it's a geographical thing. Maybe they're like, some of their servers are having an issue, maybe other ones aren't. Hey Matt, been in AMC since January and followed you since then. Awesome growth for you in your show and advice. Shout out. Also got into SHIB at 0027 for 250 million coins. Watching it fly. Keep up the good work. Shout out. Crushing it. I mean, SHIB, look at this insanity. This, congratulate. Like, we're at 65, 64. Like I said, we could do a little bit of like some technicals right here, I suppose. To just do maybe a bit of a fib extension. Nope. I wanted it to particularly lock on. No, wait, where's the extension? Trend extension. That's what we want. This is going to be very, very rough, but let's see. So we just passed one at the 62%. So the next one would be at 69.23, which is very close to that psychological level of 70. So that's what I'd be watching in the short term, just to see. But once again, I'm not actively trading it. This thing is just too fun. Too fun. You never know what you're going to get. So I just want to keep some skin in the game on that one. Public isn't working for me either in Cali. Interesting. So you mean the psychological level of 69? Oh, that's funny. Spotify for burning SHIB. Artist gets converted to the dead wallet. Interesting. So it's the SHIB burner official on Spotify. And once again, that is SHIB burner official. It's the Spotify for burning SHIB. Artist pay gets converted to the dead wallet. Tesla's a distraction. Let's go down, Cootery. All right, PROG also making its moves. Okay, finally, Tesla's coming back, so I can pretend it's a stock once again. Yes, I do handle this in a very mature manner. If I don't like it, I don't like to keep it on the screen. If it upsets me. That's how all the world's best traders do it, right? If you're just upset with something, out of sight, out of mind. It's a healthy coping mechanism. All right, PROG looks like it wants to make some moves. SHIB has clearly been making moves. Look at that thing. We're going up to 69. Just hit 69. We're running to 70. This is nuts. Absolutely nuts. Can you buy SHIB on Webull or Robinhood? On Webull, yes, but also no. You don't actually have ownership of it. If you want to get it, the easiest way to probably get it is on Voyager. Right. As this is loading. SHIB, right here. So Voyager, it's an app you download. Here, I'll throw this up. This is the code, MAT21. But I need to clarify, it still isn't a good idea to chase an all-time high. Like, you might want to wait for some sort of like reversion, I would say. I'm not in any way saying people should chase this all-time high. Please be reasonable. But the easiest way to probably get it, if you're in the US, is Voyager. I believe it's on Coinbase. I think it's also on Gemini. Coinbase is pinned to the top of chat. Voyager's easy. Gemini's good. I don't know about the other ones. I don't know where it's listed off the top of my head. I just know it's definitely in Coinbase and also on Voyager. It might be on KuCoin and Kraken, Binance. I'd have to double check. But someone just said Coinbase is down. Coinbase Pro is down. Okay, so it now sounds like your option is Voyager for whatever's going on today. Matt, are you jumping in? I'm already in. Daddy 8 becoming an astronaut, 30 mil in SHIB, had 370 mil a while back and sold most of it to put into AMC. LO, not sure how I feel right now. It's such a roller coaster of emotions. What's going on, Rhode Island? All right, PROG with that breakout. AMC not having the best of days currently, but hopefully your intraday losses are being offset by SHIB. Hey, Tesla's coming back. DWAC is also coming back though. Hood bouncing back. We're seeing all these weird, interesting bounce backs that don't really make the most sense to me. SHIB is also on public. Yeah, but that's the same thing, that I don't think you have direct ownership. I don't think public, Webull, or Robinhood, I don't think any of them serve as a wallet. If you're going to be involved in the world of crypto, it's free to sign up. Get a Coinbase account, get a Gemini account, get a Voyager account. I'm on all three of those. If you're going to get into the world of crypto, get legitimately into the world of crypto. Not these ones that are like fancy IOUs and they're spotting you the price. If you can't transfer your crypto out, you don't have true ownership of it. And one of the biggest things is having true ownership. Oh, very, very quick update. So the video from about 2 weeks ago, that contest is now over. The giveaway video, when I'm giving 10 different people a $100 gift card to AMC, that the list is picked. I'll be tweeting it out right after, like I'll be tweeting it out in between streams today. And then I'll personally be DMing all of you, make sure it's me, and I'll be asking for your email so I can send you the $100 AMC gift card. 10 winners, $100 each. I'll have a Twitter announcement to let everyone know who won, and then I'll personally be DMing all of you to ask for your email so I can send you the gift card. SHIB added 20 billion in the market cap in the last few days. It could do so again and take Solana, couple that with Robinhood listing, and say bye to Cardano. Yeah, but Robinhood yesterday said that they're not doing it. Where isn't showing SHIB higher than 65? Let me see. Let me see. So remember, there are going to be kind of different providers, like data providers of like what exchanges and brokers they're getting on. What you care about is you don't care about the true magnitude of the number. You care about if it's the same percentage, because that's where you make your money, is on the percentage. I'm seeing SHIB. Yes, I'm seeing that same thing at 65. But once again, the percentage is right. SHIB is up 36% in the one-day change. So the percentage is right. They might just have a different magnitude depending on like where they are or aren't getting it. Is it normal for Genius to be halted in anticipation of news? Yep, it's literally called a news halt. All right, so AMC, you're very much looking for this trend line break. PROG had the trend line break. It's at 425. The current intraday high where things get very exciting is 443. Tesla waking back up. Hey, not complaining about that. 1,052. Looking for this breakout of 1,065. All right, we're good there. We are good here. What a day already. What a day. Where are we at? Let's throw out a tweet about SHIB congratulating all these people. Whoa. Something just happened with my keyboard. Did I just like disable my keyboard? It went beep and now I can't type anything. That's a bit of a bummer. I only have my mouse. Hello, computer? My hardware is stopping me from tweeting right now. Uh-oh. I wonder how I fix it. I cannot type and I'm hearing weird noises every time I hit it. Sticky keys. How do I turn sticky keys off? How do I get out of this? You've been hacked. How do I turn sticky keys off? Because I can't search how to turn sticky keys off. They never... how do I turn it off? Control Alt Delete. Hold Shift. Alt F4. You guys. I'm gullible, but I'm not that gullible. Shift times 5. I'm not having a good time. This is proof that robots are attacking us. Shift times 5. Shift 5 times. Like, just hit it. I'm hitting it. I think I hit it 5. This is going downhill pretty quickly, team. Always a fun day in the studios of my mom's basement. It happens. At least my mouse still works. At least we still have a mouse. Other shift. Well, this is dissatisfactory. I'm stopped. I was in the middle of a hot tweet. We'll figure this one out. We'll figure it out. Hodl Shift. How long do I need to hold it? Whoa. That did something. Can I do it again? Oh, we're live. See, that noise was a robot dying. The robot that was attacking me. All right. Well, we took down one robot today. I feel like that's already a good day. We wake up, make some money on SHIB, make some money on PROG, make some money on Tesla, buy some dips on some of our favorite moon stocks, defeat one robot. We're good. That's a full day, and it's not even 10:30. We fit a full day into an hour and a half. That's just efficiency. Will, fire tweet indeed. Oh, man. How much? Wait, how much did this pass? Coin market cap. Where is SHIB now? 11 still. How did this not patch Doge yet? It has to be in striking. We're not. How has it not cracked the top 10? Current evaluation or market cap, I should say, of $24.5 billion. That's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Fun. How high do we think it's going to get? Everyone throw out your predictions. What spot on the leaderboard? It's currently number 11. What spot on the leaderboard do you think SHIB's going to go to? Right answers only. Do you think SHIB could hit 10 cents eventually? Eventually, yeah, if they keep burning, and it'd be nice if they started burning even faster. Any idea why Voyager doesn't register the SHIB? Okay, yeah, so this is a bit different just because it depends on where you're getting it from. So right here, look at Binance. Like, they all have, like, Binance, Coinbase, FTX. It just depends on, like, KuCoin. It depends on the provider that you're using. Once again, you don't care about that exact magnitude. You care about the percentage change of, like, all of these should be in agreement of it's up X% or down X%. The percentage move is what matters to you and your account, not like the actual magnitude of the number. All right, SHIB coming back for round 2. Tesla's still looking good. Whoa, DWAC. Why didn't you guys tell me to take my gains on that? Maybe I'm the greedy one. 52.83. I still felt really confident about the gap fill. I would have never taken gains. 80 cents would have been too far away with how confident I am about this gap fill. So I'm not going to blame you guys on that one. I'll have to accept blame myself for once in my life. $69.62. It would have been better if it was $69.69. Did DWAC fill the gap? Unfortunately, it has not. The gap is perfectly 52, and we hit a low of 52.77. So I guess we were off by 77 cents. I'm still holding. I'm in the short term. I'm going to blame you folks, but don't worry, because when it actually fills it, I will take all credit. So you're all good. Nothing to worry about. No F's given. Becoming an astronaut. Shout out. You just called the 1065 breakout on Tesla, but I can't see why that level works on my charts. Can you please explain what you see? Yeah, it's just the intraday high. It's not like a daily breakout. It would be an intraday breakout of just the action we've seen from 9:30 till now. This would be a breakout because that's where we got rejected 3 separate times. Not necessarily on the daily chart. I'm on the 3-minute chart for today, October 27th. You have breakouts on breakdowns on various time frames. So this one was exclusively in reference to today's intraday action. Next support on AMC is just below 34. It's around 33, like 70, 33, 80, something along there. He sees Tesla, that's all. It's always breaking. Use an old gym sock. Keep sticky keys away. Oh, man. Dumb money can't count to 5. We just count to moon. Maybe you just don't know what you're doing. What's going on, Alec? That's a good one. How do you turn sticky keys off? Get a girlfriend. My keyboard's freaking out. Your cat. Sorry. Hopefully the cat's all calm now. C. LaFoy Grant. I hope you crush it. David Gonzalez becoming a space ape. I know you're not a financial advisor, but do you see potential in PROG or BBIG? Got stock in the green on PROG, a little red on BBIG. Thinking of dumping BBIG to up my position on PROG. All profits into AMC. In terms of like a long-term investment in either of those, I like PROG better than BBIG. That doesn't mean I'm against BBIG. I just see more potential in PROG in a relative basis to BBIG, David. I just think it could upend an aspect of our like the medical, I guess, world. And hey, I'll bet on that disruption. While you're analyzing gap fills on METX, yeah, so with it, gap fills are actually more difficult when you're talking about a penny stock, METX. It didn't gap fill, and now you have this additional gap fill down to 32.88. So it already got this first gap fill from this morning. So yes, this is a potential play right here, 32.88, the high from October 22nd. Yes, possibility, could definitely get gap filled. But once again, it's a penny stock, most likely a low float. It has a valuation of 61 million. It's going to be a low float as well. So it's just not my play. It's gapping up, but every day it gaps up, it's still going red. So even though it's gone higher, I'm still seeing the closes below the open, which I find a bit to be bothersome. So with it, I don't think it's a bad play. It's just not a play for me. I think there's higher odd plays out there. Legit question, if Berkshire jumped to 600K plus because 3 orders came in at 200K above price, what would happen if we all started buying AMC at 60 a share? You can't just buy it at 60 a share. The reason it could jump like that is because the ask is not filled out. Right now on AMC and GME, the ask and the bid are both very liquid. So if you put in an order at 60, you're not going to get filled at 60. You're going to get filled around 35, 30, whatever the current spread is. You can't pay more because like these brokers and even market makers, they do have an obligation to give you like whatever. That's where it gets into the legal sense of, okay, like best execution. So you can't just simply get filled at 60 if you want to get filled at 60. You're going to get filled at whatever the lowest ask is. The reason why that one popped up is because the lowest ask was not that low and they overran the ask. Snap filled the gap today. Would you go long? Wait, if it already filled the gap? Snap. Wait, Snap didn't fill the gap. Oh, wait, are you talking about a previous gap? No, Snap still has this gap. I don't know what gap you're seeing for a gap fill. Where would it be? I don't think Snap filled the gap today. Snap has 2 notable gaps, one at 29 and then one to the upside at 74. I think they'll both eventually be filled, but it didn't fill a gap today. To me, right now, Snap is not a play. It's just too tough. Like, what's your risk point? Your risk is extraordinarily far away if you're betting up or down. It's just, to me, not a high odds play at the moment in time. So I got sucked into PHUN. Do you think it has a chance of 8 so I can at least break even? I was hoping to load up on more AMC. Do I think it has a chance? Well, yeah, anything's possible. I think PHUN returning to 8 in the short term is highly unlikely. Maybe in the future the company develops, or maybe there's just like another burst of energy if there's a burst of energy with DWAC. But I think a more realistic play is the gap fill to $1.92. But could it go to 8 for you to break even? Of course it could. Like, I'm not going to say you're like completely wrong and that can't happen. It's just the same way of with anything in the market, nothing is ever guaranteed. And like all these people freak out when I tell them that the AMC and GME squeeze is not guaranteed. To the 11,000 people listening right now, nothing in the market is ever guaranteed. Ever, ever, ever. I don't care if you're talking about a gap fill, a MOAS, an earnings report. There's things that have higher and lower odds, but it's very much a world of 1 to 99%. Nothing is ever 100% guaranteed, or nothing ever has a 0% chance of profit, like of possibility. We live in the world of 1 to 99, and I'm very, very, I guess, tired of all these people with larger social media accounts trying to guarantee something. I don't care if it's a crypto, a stock, an option, a future. You cannot guarantee squat in the stock market. You just can't. And it's odd to me. It's very odd to me that you have people who are new to the market and they've grown their social media and they're all of a sudden like guaranteeing things. I was like, you're new to the market. Like, you don't even know what you don't know. I've been trading for over a decade now, and I'm still learning a crazy amount of things. And one of the main things I know after a decade of experience, I can tell you, nothing's ever guaranteed. Nothing is ever, ever, ever guaranteed. It doesn't matter what you're talking about. If you're talking about markets, you already know it's not going to happen. You can't throw out those guarantees. And there's a reason why everyone who's ever been involved in the market for any serious amount of time, they'll say the same thing. The only people who go opposite of that are people brand new to the market, basically trying to confirm whatever someone's bias is for views, likes, upvotes, just to be more liked by the community that they're attempting to support. So please keep in mind, there's a big difference between someone telling you a truth and someone saying what they think everyone wants to hear so they get more likes, views, and updates, or upvotes, I mean. So please be careful. I think some people are using their platform in what I would consider to be a bit more of, I suppose, an immoral manner. Or maybe it's not immoral, maybe they believe it, and then if it's not immoral, I just think they're highly uninformed. Yes, paying taxes on your profits is guaranteed. I mean, you don't have to. You could just go to jail instead. If you're like, nah, I don't want to pay. You could just Al Capone it and be like, nope, I'm not paying. I'd rather go. Someone said the only guarantee is Matt loses money on Tesla. All right. Okay, maybe you came up with the one guarantee in the market, Matt losing money on Tesla. You're not wrong there. That's a very good point. I just sent you a DM, found a tweet that shows PROG may have another patent ready for issue as of October 15th. I'm not sure, hoping you could look. All right, Wall Street Viking, I'll check that out. What does an unsatisfied woman say? That DWAC. Karthik, that's a good one. That's a good one. SHIB, win yacht. SHIB's looking good. Hanging out at 64. I have a nice, 30+% gain. Tesla's making its move. PROG flat, but it's flat at a nice gain. It's flat at a 5.6% gain. I think DWAC and PHUN are recent teachers. What is DWAC doing? How's that all the way up to 63? All right, out of sight, out of mind. Anyway, just in general, their recent highs, it's a good learning lesson of don't chase runners because it's running. Like, you got to do some DD. Just because something's running, you're increasing your chances of being a bag holder. I know there's many people who are bag holders on right now, and that sucks, and I feel for you, but take it as a lesson. The next time you see something running, think about how you feel right now involving DWAC and PHUN. Be like, that sucks. You knew you shouldn't have chased. Like, bottle this feeling up and think about it the next time you might chase a runner. It's very, very important. I think PHUN and DWAC, for all of us, it was a learning lesson across the board of how to handle halts mentally, to not chase, on the downfall of it, of even if you did chase, what's your trading plan? What was your risk? Don't just get into something and hope for the best. At what level how bad does it have to get for you to be like, I am done with this play? Because it's all about capital preservation. No one trade should be so risky that you're risking blowing up your entire account. You should have some sort of allotted risk because it's all about capital preservation and like living to fight another day. I guarantee the market will continue to try to take my money. Doug Smith, yeah, DWAC is moving up. I still feel confident about this gap fill. I didn't predict that it would overshoot it by 77 cents. Like, I thought it'd be a pretty obvious gap fill, but hey, patience. FIGS hitting low support, looking for a bounce. 9 DTC, lowish float, 14% short interest, not squeeze play, but could run to 45 with good volume. Well, is BKKT a classic case of institutions buying the rumor and selling the news? I think BKKT is a real long-term play, but it blew me up. I don't know if it was buying the rumor. Like, it was a good fundamental development. They partnered up with MasterCard and Fiserv, something like that, but it's a digital asset platform like in the world of crypto. So I think it spiked on like solid, legitimate news. I kind of agree with you that there is a world in which BKKT could be like an actual long-term play. First time holding heavy bags on Mark 586 average. PHUN moving manipulation on it. Why I hold AMC. Moving manipulation on it. I'm not aware of any manipulation on PHUN. It was like just a rumor pump that it was associated with DWAC and people got excited. And then there were halts, but halts aren't manipulation. That's just like a market rule. If it moves too much in a certain amount of time, it could be halted. It's a volatility halt. There are various other types of halts. There's news halt is probably the next most common one, but there's like an entire series of halts. But that doesn't mean there wasn't moving manipulation. I'm just not aware of it myself. Stupid question, a learning question. How do you determine support lines and gap fills from the graphs? Example, AMC. So I don't think, oh no, AMC does have gaps. Okay, so gaps, let me just right here. All right, so how do I determine gaps? I mean, I don't, like the market determines it, but like you see this actual hole right here between the low of October 21st and the high of October 22nd. Well, ever since October 22nd, we have not traded in this region. It's like a literal hole. That's why it's called a gap. And a gap fill is playing it all the way up until it gets filled. So for example, going long from 35.28 all the way up to the gap fill, which would be the low from the 21st at 38.80. That's a gap fill play. And it happens to the upside and to the downside. In terms of support and resistance, now that's probably a whole discussion itself, but on the most basic level, I look just for the recent highs and lows. We have some lows at 35.50. We have a low at 33.74. We have a high at 44.44. It's when I look at the daily chart, and you could do this on whatever time frame you want. I think the more time frames, the better. I look at the recent relative lows and highs and just see if the stock reacts to them as we come to them in the future. Been gone for a couple of weeks. How's AMC? AMC right now, it's unfortunately down 2% on the day, which we've had worse days. It's at $35. The closest support is more than $1 below it. It's at around 33.75-ish. It's being systematically sold off. I did not say a short ladder attack because I think people who talk about short ladder attacks are really overstating how often they happen. I think that short ladder attacks do happen, but like far less common than Reddit would have you believe. Far less common. It's actually kind of funny. If you look up short ladder attack, look it up on Google Trends. It just it spiked when it was first mentioned on Reddit, and then that was kind of it. It's interesting if you look at the search volume on what a short ladder attack is. Once again, do I think it's a thing? Yes, but I also think social media is overstating how often it happens. This right here, a sell-off, it could be it's just people are selling. That could be to create a short position. That could be paper hands getting out. It could be institutions getting out. It could be like a myriad of different things. It could involve the options market of some crazy stuff going on there. I think it's a little bit of a, whenever you see a little bit of red, I think it's almost like intellectually lazy to just say, oh, like that's a short ladder attack. Like you're just brushing it off when you could really dive into it and attempt to actually figure out what's going on. I think it's like a fail safe that a lot of people fall on, and they're just like, oh, I see red, clearly has to be a short ladder attack. And I just, like I said, I think it's a bit of a lazy reasoning of not wanting to dive into like what's actually going on. How much is AMC up on the month and on the year? Great question. So on the month, AMC is down 10%. On the year, it's up 1,600%. What's actually going on? They are shorting. Very well could be. We know that it's a low volume day, and on top of that, they've already taken out 2 million shares against it. It is very, very possible that this stock movement, we've only traded 8.5 million shares. It is mathematically possible that 25% of the volume today is short volume, which is extraordinarily high. Extraordinarily high. That's a very legitimate explanation of what could theoretically be going on right now. And in my opinion, a short attack of knowing that it's just under 25% potentially of today's volume, that's a much better explanation and much more reasonable than this like tinfoil hat short ladder attack stuff. It just seems like a straight up short attack. Like, I think sometimes Occam's razor is the best tool we have of like, oh, they loaned a lot of shares out, I bet they're selling them to the market. Seems like sometimes that the simplest answer is the most obvious. Oh, speaking of percentages, this is one thing I wanted to bring up. So yesterday, I was asking, and maybe you guys have more suggestions, and this is very, very important because I see a lot of misinformation coming out about dark pools, and I'm starting to get to the point that I truly think it's plants trying to get people confused, and they're like, look at this dark pool thing, because I think they're trying to get us to pay attention to that when they know there's not going to be much there, when there's way more horrific things that we should be looking into involving the market. So with that being said, I mean, the dark pool thing, I'm honestly getting tired of it. I've brought Dave Lauer on 3 separate times. Each time we talked about dark pools. You can learn about dark pools from a stock market expert. They're all on the channel. Just search Matt Kohrs, Dave Lauer, dark pools. You can find out everything you need to. The thing I asked is, I see it myself on social media. Day after day, people are saying the dark pool volume for AMC and GME, especially AMC, is over 60, 70, 80%. And it's not just on social media. I've actually seen people like Benzinga report it. And I asked that because I've never seen those numbers myself. I've never seen a data source that says 60, 70, 80%. So I asked people, I was just like, hey, where are you getting it? And it seems like the 2 ones I'm hearing the most of are Market Chameleon, and then the other one is Chart Exchange. So even this must be from yesterday. Yeah, this is from yesterday. But let's just even take yesterday. So it says dark pool, and then the volume 63%. And this is where I get frustrated, is a website can say whatever you want it to. Like, I mean, anyone right here, like, let's do this. Hang on, where is, I just want it, like, you can, like, you could just change it. Like, we're trusting arbitrarily in this website to like have the proper, I guess, definition of what's going on. And then literally at the bottom of the chart, it frustrates me that no one's like just looked under the chart. Multiple off exchange venues. That does not mean dark pools. That means dark pools are included, but it also means that market makers are included. Off exchange trading is dark pools and market makers. So just to say off exchange is all dark pools, that's erroneous. That's wrong. Maybe there is a particular data source that shows 63% truly is dark pools. That is possible. But I'm saying Chart Exchange is not one of them. Right here, multiple off exchange venues. They are referring to market makers. And that's for Chart Exchange. So citing this, I don't know. I still have not seen a data source that is actually claiming 60+% on a dark pool. If you have one, please, I would love to share it. I'm not saying that it's wrong. I'm just saying I haven't found a data source that actually provides that. And if we're going to win this fight, we have to actually have like true, like we have to have facts. Like we have to show the data. But right here, this like website from the 1990s is going to get ripped apart. Right here, they even say off exchange. Let's talk about Market Chameleon. Same thing. So Market Chameleon is also right here, 66% for the 25th. So that's 2 days ago. But once again, represent activity away from the mainstream or lit exchanges. Once again, they're talking about everything off exchange. They're inappropriately saying all off exchange trading is dark pool, where yes, dark pool is a part of it, but most of it is market makers. So these are the 2 data sources I'm mainly seeing. We have Chart Exchange, we have Data Chameleon. Both of them, I don't know, just from the looks of the website, I don't trust it, but also that doesn't mean it's necessarily not trustworthy. But I do want to point this out. This is from Chart Exchange. Right here, Chart Exchange. We do not guarantee that the content is accurate, complete, reliable, current, or error-free. That does seem to be just like, I suppose, a generic disclaimer of sorts, because right here, this is from Market Chameleon. The company does not guarantee the accuracy, completeness, or timeliness of the information. accuracy, completeness, timeliness, same thing. And I'm not just particularly picking on these two, because this is even from FINRA's website. I've been using it from the official FINRA website. Unfortunately, that's not up to date. At best, it's 4 weeks old. But even FINRA is saying, all the information on this website is published in good faith for general information purpose only and subject to change without notice. FINRA does not make any warranties about the completeness, reliability, or accuracy of this information. So if you ask me, it sounds like literally all of them are trying to cover their ass so they don't get sued. Like I said, I'm not particularly picking on Chart Exchange. I'm just saying, hey, read this. I'm not particularly picking on Market Chameleon. I'm just saying, understand that they're just saying anything that's not a lit exchange, they're calling a dark pool, which is incorrect. And even FINRA, right here, all of them are saying, we're not going to guarantee squat. Literally all of them. Government websites and crappy websites from the 1990s, all of them, the one commonality is they're like, hey, it might be right, it might be wrong, please don't sue us. Which is obviously just a very frustrating point to be at. So really with this, please, if you have a different data source, I want it. I am the guy who cares actually about the truth and getting into it. But what I know from September 20th, I get it. It's already a month old. For a bit of clarification, according to the website I posted above, as in the FINRA one right here, AMC dark pool volume accounted for less than 4% of all trading volume for the entire week of September 20th. Have things potentially change in October? Well, of course they can. I don't have the data, so I can't do an analysis of it. All I have is the data of September 20th. Yes, the data is delayed by a month. Go figure. Of course it is, because it's the government and they never give us data. But anyway, if you think you have a better data source, I would love it. Just respond to this. I'll look into it. We'll figure out what's going on. My entire goal is just to get the truth out to all of you, because I see it. I clearly see it. The amount of incorrect information related to dark pools within this community is absolutely horrific. And I strongly believe that people are trying to get us to pay attention to dark pools, where dark pools, they do have their problems. They're a less regulated venue. They sell backdoors to high frequency traders. There are various problems we could go on about dark pools, but if we stopped all dark pool trading, which according to the last week of September 20th was only 4%. If you got rid of that 4% of trading, that doesn't mean we're going to be anywhere else. There are bigger fish to fry. Do I think dark pools can be fixed? Yes, I think they can be fixed. I think there are various things we could fix about them. But if I could wave a magic wand of things that I could fix right now, dark pools would not make my top 3, would probably not even make my top 5. There are way bigger problems out there than 4% trading of equity on a non-lit exchange. If someone bought $1 billion in AMC, would it squeeze? It would definitely increase the odds of it. I don't know if it'd be guaranteed, but it would definitely cause quite some excitement for sure. How does the halt affect your theta on options? Your theta burn's still going to happen, because your theta is based on the date till expiration. So if it's not trading for 15 minutes, technically the theta is working against you even worse. Genius, in at 135, 41K shares, this thing still halted. Jeez. It has to be a news halt, right? At that point, what else would even make sense? It has to be a news halt. I mean, that's so incredibly long. PROG just broke below 4. Look for it to hold 4. Robinhood at 36. DWAC. What a recovery on DWAC. That's not good for me, but if you're in DWAC, I guess that's good for you. So congrats. Someone is saying it's not halted. Say Fatov. That's an interesting name. I guess make sure you reload, because Genus is not halted. It is actively trading currently at $1.58. So right here, Genus. All right, here we go. What else do we have? Public turned off the buy button on AMC. I don't think that's right. That would be an announcement that they position closed only. I think that's a bit of fear mongering. They might have technical issues, but they didn't PCO AMC. That would be like a public statement from public. Someone said PROG done with. I don't agree with that at all. It's at $4. Look at where it's been over the past week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. To say it's done, you're just typing something to type something. Tesla. Hey. This is what happens when you don't pay attention to it. It does better. That's my secret with Tesla. Just don't pay attention to it until it does what I want it to. Usually it's the other way around. Tesla doesn't pay attention to me until I do what it wants me to, but this might be one of those rare things where maybe I'll be right. Giving up on the MOAS. When do people come up with this? When did I say I was giving up on the MOAS? I'm just teaching. I'm giving out actual information verified by experts, verified by exchanges. I'm not. Is anyone getting tired of people putting out videos and their DD is like reading the title of Reddit, of reading half of someone's tweet, of ripping off someone else's YouTube video? Like, isn't that tiresome to the community? It's like, I think I've heard this before, or it's just, or when people are clearly proven wrong and then they're just like, no, I'm not wrong. It's like, well, wait, what do you mean? We have the facts. And I get it from an emotional standpoint of like, no one likes to be wrong. My biggest concern is that an incorrect argument makes its way up to the highest level of politics and we just get completely laughed at. If we are so privileged to get our voice to get magnified to the level that politicians and government officials and the SEC listens to us, and if the first thing they hear is just an erroneous argument, we're just going to be laughed at. That's like one of my biggest fears about this community and this movement, is that these conspiracy theories that have been disproven are the ones heard and then we're just laughed at. You already see it with people like Charles Gasparino. He's a lot of things, but he's not stupid. I don't think he's moral. But if you look at him, the things he continually talks about are the things that he knows the community's wrong about. Like he'll harp on that because he knows the other things are legitimate arguments, so he wants to stay away from those. It's an interesting scenario. So in a certain sense, we can't keep giving these people who are against our movement more ammunition by like pumping pure conspiracy theories that are actively disproven. If it's just a good theory, okay, well, let's discuss it. That's the scientific method. Like if you have a hypothesis, let's test it. Let's see what conclusion we come with. But if we've already proven things and then people are still pushing that rhetoric, it's honestly an embarrassment. PHUN and Epic. Matt has diamond hands and raisin-sized diamond balls. Stop spreading fear, you shills. Gorilla Champ, what's going on? What else do we have? Matt doesn't even have hands. His whole body is diamond. What's going on, Marcus? All right. Tesla 162, SHIB looking strong. GME 178.50, AMC 35, PROG back over 4. Just finding support there once again. I guess I would update this trend line to this wedge now. I'd look for that breakout there on PROG. DWAC, an incredible bounce. Incredible bounce on DWAC. Wow. Well, I'm still sticking to my plan. I have my risk, I have my reward, and that's what's nice. When you have a well-defined plan, you know exactly what to do. This is clearly moving the opposite way of where I want it to go. But when you already have such a well-defined plan, my risk hasn't been hit, my reward hasn't been hit, which means I sit on my hands and I do nothing. What else do we have? Hood with the recovery, but kind of coming down a little bit right now. SPY went up, came down. Qs, I don't know, I guess drunk. IWM went up, also came down, so hopefully this bounces relatively soon. Look at the similarities between AMC and the Russell 2000. The Russell 2000 had this bounce, most likely related to the SPY and the Qs of just like overall market sentiment, but eventually couldn't hold it and it sold off as AMC was selling off. A lot of similarities between the Russell 2000 and AMC. Can you speak on the large purchases by hedge funds such as BlackRock BlackRock adding to their AMC position? Is this real, or are there other YouTubers getting false info? I think it's real, but it's also delayed because those 13F reports, they're like, you have to look at the effective date. As things, they're going to be properly balancing, especially Vanguard, the money manager, to whatever ETFs they have. So as things change in the overall market, they have to continually like reposition their ETFs. But in terms of BlackRock, Fintel is a good source, but just understand it's not real time. That's why you look at the effective date on it, and that's for any equity. So look at the effective date, and you can only say, oh, they own this many shares on that date. Ignore the tools. Your knowledge has changed the financial future forever. This $5 and my thanks and my other tips are not fair in comparison. Thanks, bro. Hey, Brian, that's very, very kind of you. Thank you so much. I'm very, very happy that some of you are like really starting to understand my methodology and where I'm going with this. I am not a person who's going to sit here and just scream MOAS, 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 beg you to invest money and sell you lies that this is going to be definitively the thing that makes you financially free. That's not me, because I don't know the future of the market. I have my money in AMC. I have my money in Jimmy. I believe in them. I believe in what they represent. I'm not in love really with either of their fundamentals. I think the fundamental situation is improving. What I believe in and why I'm in them is because I believe in the movement. I believe in what the stocks are symbolic of. But other stocks, like I don't think that the movement should be tied to the success or failure of the stock. That's putting risk into the movement. I am here to improve the market. I am here to shine light on insider trading, on manipulation, on systematic risks to the entire system. And if that is somehow directly associated with only one or two stocks, I don't think that's like how a grassroots like movement should actually take place. It doesn't make sense to me to do it in that mechanism. Do I want AMC and Jimmy to be highly successful? Well, of course I do. I'm not some altruistic Mother Teresa. I'm in them. I want to make a stupid amount of money on it. But to me, it's hard for me to articulate this, but we have been given one of the most unique opportunities ever for a small group of retail traders to like actually affect incredibly positive change for the entire Wall Street system. And those aren't just words. Like, that's truly where we're at. The craziest series of black swan events back to back to back has dropped one of the most absurd opportunities into all of our laps. And I view it as, we got to take if an opportunity that has happened fell into our lap, to me, it's almost immoral to not try to take advantage of it. I don't know how successful we will or won't be, but I just know there's no chance of success if we don't at least take an attempt and our best effort attempt. Like I said, these are not just hollow words. The way things have been going, especially over the past, 10 months, especially over the past 6 to 8 weeks, it's dawned on me that we got to take this. This has gone from the level of just like, oh, I'm in the stock for the lows, I want to make some money, to yes, all of that. But it has clearly grown to the level of, if we play our hand right, we talk to the right politicians. If we talk to the right politicians, that means we affect true positive change, not only for us, but for future generations. And when you're presented with an opportunity like that, I just don't see how you pass up on it. Mama says MOAS is like a box of chocolates. What's going on? What's up, Matt? Can you do the Ortex numbers for BBIG and how does the chart look? Thank you. Sure. BBIG. It's at support. If it starts to break down, you're looking for the gap fill play to just above $3, but it's at support, so it could bounce right off of here. But if it starts to go south, especially below 475, look out below on BBIG. It's in that danger zone. the danger zone. BBIG's short interest is 29%, which really means nothing until demand is found. Just because something has high short interest does not mean it has to squeeze. I don't know who came up with that, but it doesn't. You need demand. You need buying aggression for a squeeze. Made 138% on hood puts from closing bell yesterday to opening bell today. Thanks, Vladdy. Can you check AGC potential on Ortex? AGC, it does not have a short interest reported on Ortex. Matt, real talk for a second. SHIB versus Doge. I know you don't want to pin two communities against each other, but based on Doge inflationary supply and SHIB burn rate, do you think SHIB will pass Doge at some point? Do I think it'll pass it at some point? Yeah. I mean, just the enthusiasm right now. I don't know if it'll stay above it in the long run, but do I think that SHIB at some point, generically in the future, do I think that SHIB's market cap will pass Dogecoin's market cap? Yes. SHIB feels like Doge before the SNL in May. I'm in both and I don't care. What are your thoughts on SHIB will dump after Robinhood listing? No, I think the listing would actually be a positive catalyst because now more people will do it. Robert, dark pool equals no squeeze. That's improper. That's not. Dark pools are not the things like halting a squeeze. Not at all. I don't know where anyone's even getting that. Dark pool equals no squeeze. Okay. Once again, and you do not have to take my word for it. If you don't want to take my word for it, don't, but then go look into experts such as Dave Lauer, such as any Wall Street insider, anything. Dark pools, any trades on a dark pool have a material impact on price. Whoever is telling you that trading on a dark pool has no impact on price has not looked into dark pools. I don't know how to be more like clear and concise in my verbiage about that. Trading on a dark pool has a material impact on price. It just does. Like everyone that knows about dark pools, like actually knows about dark pools, that's not a contested thing the way payment for order flow is a contested within the world. Everyone on all sides of the argument that actually know about dark pools all know that trading on a dark pool has a material impact on price. A dark pool means someone squeezed into a pool. Is fun breaking out? Looks like maybe FOMO. Well, with DWAC picking up, it makes sense that these two are tied together. If you look at DWAC and they're very, very similar. So fun just being kind of pegged to DWAC. I think DWAC is the one leading the way though. The percentage of people losing in the markets, 90 to 10, are the same people who don't do DD to be persuasive or knowledgeable enough to explain AMC to a normal person, let alone the SEC. That's probably true. But I guess that's in a certain way, like how I view, like one of the caps that I wear is I view part of my job to be informing as many people who are willing to listen. I find it frustrating just as a human when I teach something and then I have all the sources and interviews and other people's credentials to back it up. And then people are like, nah, I read something different on Reddit and it doesn't fit to my confirmation, so I don't want to believe you. I heard something different on Twitter. I heard something different on YouTube. So exclusively because I heard something different that made me feel better, made me feel all warm inside, I'm going to believe that person. That's good. That is good for social media growth. It is not good for your P&L. The stock market, the crypto market, options market, futures market, the people who make money are people who have very specific hyper knowledge or just incredibly lucky. But it's not the people who just like go out of their way to seek information that makes them feel better. I find it to be particularly immoral when people put out information that they either know is wrong or they're so uninformed that they just abuse their platform by putting out something that they didn't even try to do like a little bit of research into. Do fails to deliver mean no buying pressure? Fails to deliver, that's more of a generic term. There are various types of fails to deliver, but one of the most common ones is a naked short, as in the prime broker allows someone to go short, or a market, like prime brokers can create them and so can market makers. Two different flavors of like the same whatever popsicle. I just made that saying up. Let's take that one to the bank. Fail to deliver means you either didn't have the money or you didn't have the goods. So if you go short, well, you have to like actually give the shares to the new person. But if the prime broker never located them, well, then that becomes a fail to deliver. That's just one example. There are various types of FTDs. All right, here we go. Here's the guy who took like one economics class, Keto's Guides. I took econ intro econ in college, and I know all about the economic history of the US. Sure you did. New guy, what the F are you talking about, Matt? This is dark pool manipulation. The old timers in here. Oh shit, here we go again. What's going on, Curtis? Do you think PHUN will touch 7? No clue. No clue. It could. I mean, especially with DWAC moving, it becomes a much more real opportunity. I would, if you want to know where PHUN is going to go, watch DWAC. All right, what else do we have? Oh, whoa, we are past our time show today. All right, awesome. So here's the plan. That's it for the morning show. I will be back at 3 p.m. for Power Hour. Set your reminders, do whatever you want. I could tweet it out. The reminder will be somewhere on YouTube, but for everyone watching on Twitch, on Rumble, I will be back at 3 p.m. Eastern for Power Hour. We'll talk about what happened in the day. We'll do some technicals. We'll talk about whatever the hot topic is, but we will get into all of it. Thank you for the support. I appreciate all of you hanging out with me. You're absolutely phenomenal. I appreciate you, a lot of you being willing to learn about like what's actually going on. I think that is a very special aspect of the Moon Gang. But once again, thank you for the support. I'll catch you at 3 p.m. And as always, from me and Chair, best of luck in the markets.